Welcome back to episode number 2. As I stated in my previous video, I have been going through some changes, lifestyle changes, changes when it comes to work, changes in my immediate environment, and really fully stepping into my purpose and who I'm supposed to be, or who I was born to be on this earth. And as I'm going along on this journey, I'm noticing that there's so much that needs to be changed, not only within me, but also, around me. Although I've made some physical changes with regards to reanalyzing my position just in my life and making sure that my immediate surroundings are safe. There's so much more that comes with that, just with regards to my kid, making sure that he's safe on all fronts, making sure that we're both in alignment, mind, body, and soul, with everything that we do. And me being the foundation of this process, I have to be in total control because I am a single parent. So if I'm out of order, then that means that he's out of order. And the only way for me to remain in order is to keep everything in check around me. When it comes to making these sort of changes, change is often met with resistance. And this resistance can come in many different forms, whether that be people around you who kind of disagree with the changes that you're making, or your healing process comes with a lot of resistance, right? Because when you're trying to make changes within yourself to realign yourself into what's healthy, coming out of what was not healthy, it's hard. And people who don't want to grow with you and don't want to heal with you will make that more difficult. People who don't want to heal on their own, if they're around you, they will make your process more difficult. But when we have people in our lives who are bringing conflict and chaos to us and not taking accountability for their actions, it is only right, for us to sit up and say, hey, I don't like this behavior. This behavior is making me feel this way, or this behavior is inappropriate for whatever reason you may feel. And there have been times where I've found that people are resistant to what I have to say, with regards to their behavior, and how I expect to be treated and fully acknowledged, because I'm fully acknowledging myself. And if I'm going to fully acknowledge myself, that means everybody around me has to be fully acknowledgeable of who they are, and they can't, make space for and be delusional and come into my space that is healthy and create chaos. Just trying to keep the peace and stay cordial with people who are doing that is just, it doesn't leave me in a healthy space, because at that point I'm lying to myself. That people are trying to avoid accountability for their actions and making statements like, let's leave the past in the past, just so they don't have to be accountable. It's like, I can understand, leaving the past in the past is absolutely the best thing to do. We want to do that, but there has to come accountability first. Once, when you have a disagreement or some sort of falling out with somebody, you can reconnect and there can be space for forgiveness, but first there has to be space for accountability. And I'm finding that a lot of people are finding, solace in leaving the past in the past. I'm, super spiritual and I'm all about forgiveness, but I am not about avoiding accountability. That's the only way that people learn. When people are accountable and other people hold them accountable, then we can heal as a collective. But until people are taking accountability for their actions and the things that they've done that have caused issues in somebody else's life, they don't get to, there's no more time to tiptoe around any conflict, because the people who are starting the conflict and the people who are keeping it up, they are relentless. They don't rest. You can forgive them for yourself, but they should not be granted access to you in a way that's going to put them in the line to be able to disrupt you in any other way. Again, just for me, as I'm making these changes, after being the peacekeeper for so many years and just trying to hold down the fort and be the strong Black woman that I've been taught to be, I've decided that that's over and time is up, and you should do the same. I feel like everybody should be very protective of their peace and their space, especially for those of us who are healing and who are healers. In order for your process to be successful and healthy, you have to be able to, stand in your power and speak your truth with regards to, what other people are causing in your life. It's your life, you take your control, it's your power. You want to make sure that you address the conflict in the most courteous manner as possible, without causing any harm to yourself and or others. The first step to fixing anything is to first acknowledge it, right? So we have to acknowledge that, one, there is conflict. Step two is, okay, how do I resolve this conflict without causing any chaos or anything else to be happening that's gonna push me back 2 steps when I've taken 1 step forward. This is specifically tailored to individuals being very intentional about their healing. I want you to know, when you decide to heal, everything that can possibly happen to keep you from healing will probably happen. Women, single women who have children, your kids, when you're healing and you're a single mother with children, your kids are witnessing you go through this process. So if you're feeling down in the dumps, subconsciously, automatically, your children feel that energy. And if you don't set a boundary around yourself, saying these are my standards and this is what I expect and this is how you're going to treat me, you're making space for other people to treat your child any kind of way, because if anybody, when it comes to like bad people, unfortunately there are trash people in this world, and when they feel like they can get over on you, then they feel like, oh, this person has no boundaries, this person has no self-respect, so if I harm their child or do whatever I want to do, there's not going to be any consequences or repercussions for my behavior, and I can just carry on living my life being, just like a pain in somebody's, and it's not okay. That's how I feel about that. I don't think I'm the only one to have noticed this, but if anybody is as observant as me, I've noticed like a very drastic change in the behavior of society, and this is in my personal life, and also like out in public and in the workplace. And I understand, we all have access to social media and things like that, and people like to play around and be goofy and stuff, but some of the behavior is a little disturbing, and it's just with regards to this whole delusional factor, where it's like, okay, yes, we have social media, yes, we can all be whoever we want to be. I'm totally for that, please do not get me wrong, but when it comes to being accountable for your actions, you don't get to put a filter on it like it's real life. You don't get to pretend that you're this person in real life just because you pretend to be this person on the internet. And I see a lot of people, caping, and I'm no saint, please don't get me wrong, I am not perfect, but I see some of the worst people posting like spiritual, quotes and, oh God, big like these scriptures and, just portraying to be like this angel of God who kissed them on the forehead every morning and said, please, my child, go out and share the love into the world. And it's a complete lie, because I know exactly who this person is, and I know that, and it's not just like on some, oh, this person has some issues or this person is confrontational. No, this person has deep-rooted problems, and they're low-key sociopathic, but they're on the internet portraying as if they're an angel, as if they it's very narcissistic, and it's not safe. And that's one thing we need to teach, to our children, because there's a lot of weird, lying people on the internet. We have to get in the habit, have the conversation. Something is causing you conflict, speak on it. There's no point in being quiet anymore about anything. In the same way that, Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement, as he tried to be peaceful and, he made all this progress being peaceful, all the while he was peaceful, he was still getting beat up, he was getting spit on. They even killed him. They still killed him in the same way that they killed Malcolm X. So it's like, what do? You balance the scales. If you're going to be harmed either way, you better go down fighting and don't take no BS from nobody. I wanted to come here and do this video because after going through so many years of keeping the peace and not having any peace, I found that the only way that I brought peace to myself was by telling people exactly how I felt and how they were, or how their behavior was affecting me. And yes, in situations where I, said things, some people didn't take it well. Some people like to put on the rose-colored glasses and say, no, that wasn't me. And they like to, just pretend like there's nothing wrong with them and that everything is fine. And I just want you guys to know that it's absolutely okay to tell people when it is not fine, and that you should absolutely do everything in your power to stand up for yourself and make sure you are fine, because you can't depend on anybody else to make sure you are fine. This message is specifically for the women, because we have this big thing on our back where we like to save the world and we like to save everybody, and we put ourselves last and things like that. I've been doing that for years, and I promise you it doesn't bring you any happiness, any joy whatsoever. We have to get in the habit of telling people when they have us messed up. Right when they have us messed up, we need to tell them they have us messed up. And I'm trying not to cuss because I want the kids to see this, because the kids need to know. I don't want anybody, watching my channel missing any messages, especially if I have kids here watching these messages. I need them to know that it's perfectly okay to speak up and stand up for yourself, because as an adult, like I said, I avoided conflict. As a child, I was even more quiet, which was very detrimental to my growth. But at this point, we are not doing that anymore. We are standing up, we are speaking out, and we are not about to play these games with these people who are running around causing chaos and conflict in our life when we're trying to live right, okay? So yeah, conflict resolution. You can resolve conflict without fighting, but you cannot resolve conflict by avoiding it. Take care.